You take it away.
Awesome. Okay, so I actually gave this presentation with a partner for about a year and a half at all the regional conferences, and so I did the marketing side, and she did the BD side. So one of the first things I realized when I come in and talk to people, you know, being a 20-year person, having a fellows and all that, is that sometimes y'all look at us like you don't know me and you don't know where I am. So I want to tell you who I am and where I came from. So in 2001, I started as a one-person marketing department in a firm that had never had marketing, and I knew nothing. And so they sent me to the SMPS Bay Area chapter, which was an hour away from where I was working, to learn my job. So I started off knowing nothing, one person, just like most of you guys. Eventually worked my way up to director of marketing at McCarthy Building Companies, which to me was like the pinnacle of my career, of everything I ever thought I could be. And within 2 years, I realized, oh my God, this job's killing me. I can't take it anymore. And I started consulting because of all the things you guys just talked about. In 2010, I got my CPSM. In 2011, founded Tank Girl. 2013 was SMPS Arizona president. And in 2019, I achieved my fellows designation. So literally started from the bottom and now I'm here, guys. So I get you, I've been you. And so I want to talk about the things that caused me pain. And again, as I gave this presentation, we started adding the dragons to the presentation. So these are the dragons that most people spoke of when I gave this out loud. I feel unempowered. I'm lacking guidance. I'm all alone. I have wimpy words that are killing me. I don't have a voice. No one's listening to me, right, Natalie? I have to justify my existence. All of that stuff, right? Like fighting battles that just shouldn't have to be fought in most people's careers. But because of what we do, we're often in this weird place in our companies of having this one little part of knowledge that's a small part of what the company does, but everybody needs it. And so they all want what we do, but then they argue about what we do and what we know is right? So that's really where this came from, was to really empower you guys to do all those things that you want to get done. So I got 10 things we're going to go through. I'm going to run through them quick just because I'm afraid of time a little bit, and then take notes and I'll answer all your questions at the end. So number one, top thing I learned in this industry was it is easier to ask forgiveness than permission. That is the number one thing, because here's the thing. You are the expert in what you do. And there's probably only one or two others of you, if any, in your firm, right? So stop asking permission for those things and own it. Own that you know your stuff and show it to them, right? And so part of that is getting the semantics, right? Using the right language, connecting with them the way they want to be connected with. And I'll talk about these things as we go through, how to gain that trust so that you're asking for forgiveness a lot less often. Okay, number two, show them the money. How can you increase revenue, right? If you can show them that you can increase revenue as a marketer, dude, they're going to respect you so much. So one of the things I did, so back when I first started that job in 2000, is 2001, after 9/11, we actually had a mini recession. We had a dot-com recession bubble, as well as 9/11 impacted us for a little bit. And one of the first things we started trying to figure out was how to make everybody more billable, right, in a design firm. So for example, me as a marketer, I started marketing. I learned how to mark up site plans. I learned how to file building permits. I'd walk my butt down to the permitting office. And what they learned was, because I was a marketer, I could schmooze the permit guys better and I got my permits through faster, right? And so I started learning, like, how can I actually affect the bottom line? And so maybe it's being billable in a design firm. If you're on the construction side, it's more likely finding efficiencies, like maybe negotiating with all your vendors to bring costs down. Things like that, right? So if you're actually taking control of that budget and increasing revenue or decreasing costs, they are going to value you and respect you, because that's what they care about. All right, number three, be the better you than you were the day before, right? And so for me, just showing up today to something like this is improving yourself every day. And there's a lot of people that are more than happy to show up every day and do their job and never improve. And so just learning, growing, and then making sure you share what you're learning so that they know you're learning and growing, right? Maybe, you know, you sit on something like this and you go do a lunch and learn at lunch, you know? So bringing in knowledge and sharing that and just improving yourself every day. If nothing, even if no one else notices it, you're just going to feel better, right? That you're not stagnating in this job that might be, you know, sucking the life out of you a little bit. So that's number three. Number four, work smarter and harder. And that's an and, not a not harder, an and harder. And what I mean by that is I did not get to where I got showing up 8 to 5 every day. or even 8 to midnight because of proposals, right? And so any initiative that I wanted to do, any major initiative, any growth, any change in the company, that stuff happened on Saturdays. I would go in on a Saturday, and that's when I would make those big projects happen, because there's no way to get out of the day to day. I heard every single one of you say it. I want to get out of this day to day run because I've got these big picture things I need to do. And I'm going to tell you, you're never going to get them done Monday through Friday in your office. You just aren't. I've tried it. Believe me, I've killed myself trying to do it. And once I realized that, and if I had a major initiative, maybe I carved out just 4 hours on a Saturday. And I sat down and I worked on that project. And within a month, those big projects would start getting done, right? And so, and on top of that, with working smarter, obviously, finding efficiencies, right? Getting training so you can be more efficient in those programs. I just heard someone talk about like design programs, getting Adobe training so you're more efficient. Finding people in your company that maybe you could delegate some of those in the weed tasks that somehow get assigned to you because they're not project specific and they're just this huge time suck, right? And so maybe it's CRM entries going to the admin sitting up front, things like that, like figuring out who you can delegate to. So really, kind of working smarter by getting more efficient and offloading some things that maybe you got assigned that really aren't the smartest use of your time. And then again, you have to carve out the time to get those big things done that are going to get you the recognition and the elevation in your career that you're looking for. And with that, strategy is your friend, guys. You got to learn how to be forward future thinkers. Strategy is key. And strategy can be everything from your personal strategy of who you want to be and how you're growing. That's where I would suggest starting learning strategic forward thinking, is writing a personal strategic plan. And then eventually bringing that strategy into your company so that you're not just the marketing person that makes it pop, right? That you're actually contributing in a strategic level into how your company's growing, how your processes are working, anything like that. And again, there's so many resources to learn strategy. But to me, that is the #1 tool for any kind of forward movement, is knowing how to really create a plan, break it down into macro levels, create action plans from each one. That is a skill set that will serve you so well in every single aspect of your life. All right, next one, make others look good, right? So there's a thing called, emotional capital, right? We all have our emotional capital banks, and people deposit and withdraw from those banks. And as a marketer, really, your job is to make the company look good. But if you want to grow in your own career, the key is to make other people look good. And so, if you're a marketing coordinator, be thinking about, how can I make my boss look good? Because, if you make her look good or him look good, he's going to give you a lot more emotional capital, right? If you're depositing into his bank, he's going to deposit right back into yours. And so, really, looking for opportunities to make your coworkers look good, make your boss look good. If you're in management, making your staff look good. I think that was something that was really hard for me to learn when I first became a manager. Is I'd spent my entire career like striving, right? And so it was all about my accomplishments. Look at my accomplishments as I'm getting to this top level. And then once I got there, I had to have some really painful experiences and some big failures to learn that my job was now to make my team look good. Because if my team didn't look good, then I didn't look good as a manager, right? So really looking for opportunities to make other people look good will enhance your career greatly. Okay, this is a big one. Learn the business of the business. And so what that means, for those of you that are really familiar with like SMPS domains, is it's all about domain 6. So if you're a design firm, do you understand charge out rates? Do you understand how you get your overhead rates? Do you understand what people's utilization rates need to be? Do you understand how money works in your company? Construction is a little bit different, but it is similar in that, how do payouts work? How do we get money and send money on projects? How do we keep overhead down on projects? How does the world of our business work? And once you understand that, that's when you're going to start getting senior leadership's attention. If you can talk about those things and your thoughts on them and engage them, they are going to respect you. And so a couple ways to do this is again, domain 6 in the Markendium. That's what that entire book's about. But if anything else, go make friends with your CFO. Go hang out with the CFO and talk to them and get to know them. Same with your CEO. HR, right? Learn the back end of the business, really understand that. And then even go out on job sites, like physically see what your companies do. And I think that understanding their world of operations and finance and HR, if you, again, going back to my first slide, if people know you get them, they're going to care more about you. But if you just go in and be like, I'm marketing and I need this and I want this, and you guys don't respect me and you don't see my value, no one likes that. But if you come and be like, I was thinking about our charge out rates and I'd really like to understand how we come up with those, that CFO is going to talk your ear off, right? Because nobody really likes talking with the CFO. So to me, that is just one of the really key things you can do to gain operations respect, is really absolutely understand how your business works. All right, this one, bring new ideas that make the entire firm better. So a lot of times, again, we're focused in our marketing silos of how can I make this marketing thing better? But stepping back and looking at the big picture of how does this affect the entire firm, right? Not just my little silo, but the entire firm. How can I make the entire firm better? For example, engaging with HR on company culture, right? Marketing and HR have a huge crossover there. So sitting down with HR and saying, I've got some ideas on our culture. I think this would make things better. Let's work together, right? They're going to see you as a leader bringing those ideas to them. All right, next one, build relationships inside and outside of your firm. And so again, going back to the CFO, building a relationship with that CFO. Think about one of our biggest pain points is always having to justify the money we want for things, right? I need money for this. I need money for this. I need money for this. Oh, marketing's just all overhead. But if you've got a really good relationship with that CFO and you've developed a mentoring relationship, those conversations are going to get a lot easier, right? Your operations manager, again, developing a relationship with them, two-sided, building that emotional capital. And then, finding outside mentors. So for me, throughout my entire career at any given time, I've had up to 3 mentors. One that might be more on a personal level, one that might be on my current career level, and one that might be aspirational, right? And so, and building a big network as well, just building a huge network of people that you can call to talk to about the really hard stuff that you don't want to talk about inside your firm is just huge to building your career. And, when I look for mentors, especially the aspirational ones, they may or may not even be in our industry, but what I look for is that person that just has what I want, right? Like they have that thing about them, that knowledge, that charisma, that heart, whatever that thing is. I see someone, I'm like, yeah, they kind of have something I want. Let me engage with them. And I'll tell you, I've never asked someone to be my mentor that's turned me down. And I think I've only turned down one person on the other side because it was clear they just really didn't want to do the work that needed to be done. But for the most part, so many people love these types of relationships. And so just finding the right mentor for the right place that you're at, to me, is really, really key there. And you've got to have them outside the firm. You need to have some inside the firm because you need that institutional knowledge and relationships. But really getting outside opinions in safe places is incredibly important as well. All right, here's a big one, guys. This is the scary one. Don't be afraid to ruffle feathers, right? This is a hard one for marketers because we all tend to really be people pleasers. Most of us are female. We're in kind of middle management positions. We're told that we're not as worthy as everyone else, right? And so, we get really afraid to ruffle feathers, and confrontation can be really scary for a lot of us. But I'm going to tell you, people don't respect people pleasers. They don't. And so I think the first thing is to stop people pleasing and just do the right thing, right? Stop worrying about people's reaction. If you're coming from the right place and approaching it the right way, you can't worry about their reactions, right? And so I think that, and I think one of the things that we tend to do in this industry a lot as we move along is we tend to kind of de-self ourselves. We start buying into the sad things they say about us, the kind of the off the cuff remarks of making it pop and, marketing's overhead and, oh, my favorite, the necessary evil. Like they say these things to us that are really hurtful, and we do internalize them and start de-selfing ourselves and not owning the knowledge that we have. And so to me, that's the first thing is finding your confidence. Go find your confidence and don't be afraid to ruffle feathers, because I'll tell you, people respect people that know how to bring bad news. People respect people that point out the issues as long as they come with solutions. So like one of my bosses, one of the best advice he ever gave me when I'd come in and complain about things, I'd be ruffling feathers, is he's like, you can complain all you want, but you better have at least one solution in the other hand when you walk in my door. And that was really insightful to me. And so, being able to point out issues, ruffling feathers is important as long as you do it right. And so, and a great example of this is, we had a really challenging client for a long time, and in their work situation, they were getting pretty toxic and it was kind of infiltrating us a little bit, but they were 20% of our revenue. And I was like, I got to do it. I got to do it. I can't afford to lose my staff over this. I'll replace the work, whatever. So I call and I make the call. And it was a hard call. It was really hard. Again, I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to tell them it's their fault, right? But I was like, nope, I need to do this. So I called and told them we were going to let them go. They asked why. And I was honest. I was really honest, but I also provided solutions. But I was shaking the entire conversation. I hate confrontation. And what they said to me afterwards was, thank you. You did this very professionally. And had you not done this, who knows how long this would have went on. And my God, if our vendor is firing us, when is a client going to fire us? So thank you for being brave. I earned a lot of respect in that phone call. So don't be afraid to ruffle feathers. Just do it right. Just do it in a professional, grown-up way, right? And do it with a lot of heart. Okay, here's my last one. And this is a big one. Keep score, people. Keep score, because no one else is. They're keeping score of your mistakes, but they're not keeping score of your good stuff. And so here's how I recommend people keep score. And I'm absolutely happy to share this with you. Is I created a goal sheet for people where you can put whatever that one big goal is. You can break it down into 3 mini goals, and you can put action steps behind those and what you did that week. And when I mentor people, I recommend they do this on a weekly basis. And by the time your review comes, you got a stack of what you've been working on, because it's hard to remember. All of a sudden it's like, oh, my review's in a week. I better look at last year's review and type my notes up, right? You cannot possibly remember all of the mini actions that you took to improve yourself and the company over the year. This takes you seriously. You open it up on Monday, you close it out on Friday every week. I promise you, you will be shocked at the growth you will do if you just do this on a weekly basis. Seriously, you're breaking stuff down into mini actions. And at the end of the year, you can then see 52 weeks of things you've done. Keep score. I mean it. Like no one else is keeping score on you. So you set your goals. You track the activities that you did to move those goals forward. You talk about the things that got in the way of you achieving those goals that they might be able to help you with, but you take control of your career. And that is the bottom line to me, is that one of the hardest things that I see in this industry is that there's career paths for everybody but marketing, right? There's step, everything you need to do to move your career, but marketing doesn't really get one because they don't really even know what you do. So you got to keep score for yourself. So hopefully at the end of this is how you're going to be feeling if you do any of these things. So we got just a couple minutes left. Fire away, guys. What questions do you have?
This was fantastic. Thank you so much. One of the questions that popped up in the chat that I think, Denise, you can expand on for sure. But one of the questions that I had was based on some of the balance that we're trying to get. When you're talking about working on Saturdays, did you lessen some of your work week? So like, did you try to do 7 hours a day? Okay.
No, I was director of marketing. I was working 12-hour days every day. There was no time for strategic thinking. And so I had to carve that time out to do that. Now, again, it wasn't forever. It wasn't like it was years and years of Saturdays. It was, I've got this strategic project. If I carve out 4 hours every Saturday for a month, I bet I could get this thing done. And I'll tell you, those 4 hours you spend binging Netflix, let's face it, guys. And so, but then you start up on Monday feeling behind again, right? It's this self-defeating thing. And it's awful. Like, I know you don't want to hear carve out 4 hours on a Saturday for four weeks in a row. Like, you're like, Jesus, I'm already working like this. But if you do that, you will find ways to get more efficient during the week. And that's what I'm saying is, if, like, say it's a CRM issue, right? Like my CRM are working more efficiently. I wouldn't be working these hours during the week, but I never have time to get it more efficient. Like, this is, Courtney, how many times do you hear that a week, right? You carve out those 16 hours in a month and get it done. you're not going to be working those 12 hours a day anymore, right? It's a chicken and egg thing here, guys. So yeah, it sucks. I know you don't want to hear that, but I'll tell you, I don't know anybody that got to where they wanted in their career by just doing the churn, right? You will never get off that cycle. You've got to do it for yourself.
Who else has questions?
This was wonderful. You gave really good points and you explained every slide perfectly.
Oh,
Thank
God,
you.
I'm so glad it was so fast. This was an hour-and-a-half presentation. So.
No, this was just right.
Oh, good. So Courtney has the slides, and if you want the goal sheet, feel free to send me an email, and I'll send you. I've got so many resources, y'all. You just send me your problems. I'll send you anything I've got as a resource. I love helping people have better careers. I don't want anybody to do what I did at McCarthy, which was puke on the way into work many days because I was so stressed out of my mind. I don't want anybody to live that life ever again.
I hear you. Well, on behalf of our industry, thank you for helping so many and, you know, making it a passion to get others out of that grind for sure.
It is my absolute passion.
Thank you so much for being our guest speaker. Thank you for everyone who signed in. Hopefully this was a good, motivating 30 minutes of your day. I know this is a little bit shorter than, well, it's half the time that our calls were in 2020 and before, but we really heard feedback that 30 minutes is the time frame these days. So we responded accordingly, and hopefully it is well received. We're going to have an email that comes out with the recap link so that you can get the PDF. Also, you can share it with other people, whether that's your coworkers, other people in the industry, or maybe even your boss, if that is a good fit for you. And then we've got our CRM call next Thursday. We're going to have Christina Leahy from Cosential talking about all things integration and how to get kicked off on the right foot. So be sure to join us for that. We're looking for marketing guest speakers for the rest of the year. So if you know anybody or have seen someone present, feel free to give me their information so I can make that ask. Or if you yourself have some innovations that you want to share with the group, we would love to have you as a guest speaker. Thank you so much, Deirdre. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and your passion and motivation today.
You're welcome. It was good seeing everyone. And again, please feel free to email me, call me. I love helping people. So just pick up the phone, send me an email.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good seeing y'all.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.